Welcome to another day of How to ABL. It's Snare season. Today is 9/8/2023, and it is Blast Villain Mail Day. So I'm going to talk briefly about the rotation, show you it in action, and give you additional information afterwards, including alternate team options. We will be using Magneto today. Spamneto, as I jokingly call him. He'll be sporting a Rage, although an Anger proc would work with him as well. Basically, you want to delay cancel 5 until the bubble appears. Everything else is completely spammable. Everything. 2 and 1 you can slightly delay if you want to allow the animation to go a little bit longer, save them towards the end, but pretty much you want to hit everything as soon as it's ready. This includes canceling 6. So, let's go ahead and play, show you it in action, and we'll give you additional information afterwards if you care to stick around. Alright, Magneto comes up, 5, 4, 2, 1, 3. Just use them in order, in a row. Although I guess I could have saved 1 till the end to give it that couple extra seconds. But as soon as they come off cooldown, you're just going to use them instantly. Now, you will notice that I am going to have to use my striker in order to do the snare. Thor happens to be one of the best strikers for ABL. So it kind of works out, since Magneto's not able to cancel. As long as you can charge up that striker skill, pay attention to when he's about to jump center. As soon as he lifts his sword, you can pretty much use that striker. Boom, right there. There's the cancel. You can go ahead and continue with your spam rotation. Not too much of an interruption at all by any means, which is pretty cool. Keep an eye out in the background for the purple beams, because as soon as those purple beams come up, you want to go grab that orb and come right back into the action as soon as you can. Try to prioritize your 6 and your 7, just due to the fact that you want them to recharge as often as possible so that you can use them more throughout the match. Alright, last one's going to come. I'm going to save my 6 for just a second to pick up this last one, get the Odin Force. Now I've got an amplification of 150% on that 6. Do you have to save it? No, but I like to save it. And remember, you only need to use your striker cancel skill twice throughout the whole match. And that's after you've collected your first orb and you're waiting on the second one. When that second orb hits, that's the next time that you're going to end up using that striker skill. So here, let's grab this orb right there. Got it. Boom. Continue to attack. Every so often you'll hear me clicking the auto attack, or see me clicking the auto attack. It's good to get the auto attack in there if you can. I did not wait on 5 that time for that bubble. That will hurt my score a little bit. And as the last orb is coming down, he's coming center. And like I said, as soon as he raises that sword, you can go ahead and pop your 7. And there's the cancel right there for that last snare. Ooh, I did not hit the 6. I thought I did. Sometimes these skills feel like they don't go off. I like to turn the graphics down. As you'll notice, it is still pretty laggy with all the animation going on, but having the graphics a little bit lower is nicer on your emulator or phone. And I'm playing on an emulator, so I want to be nice to it. As you can see, Spamneto is powerful. And he does quite a bit of damage today for sure. We will talk about team build-up, who I'm using, why, and what my account looks like, so you know why I'm scoring what I'm scoring. Ooh, where is that orb? There's that last orb, the last Odin Force. Some people like to pick up the last orb to start the Odin Force when they have their skills on cooldown, so they can pop them all inside of the amplified Odin Force, just to do more damage. The 2 times that you have the full Odin Force bar is where you do the most damage, and when you take damage, you actually get your score to drop a bit. So you do want to be careful with that. Make sure you're not getting hit too often. So 7.3 million is a respectable score. By no means am I one of the best AB players. It's mostly account-based more than it is for skill. So don't feel bad if you're not scoring this. You're going to find out in a second why I'm scoring this. So 7371571. All right. He does better on days where he has double support. I mean, Cyclops is technically a double support, but there's better options now, like Dazzler. When you can get the Dazzler Mysterio combo going, you're in good shape. Or Dazzler Valkyrie, even better. Okay, so let's talk about my account. So first and foremost, Pierce. Pierce is going to increase your score a lot. I only have 16% Pierce. If you can get up to 25% Pierce, you'll do a lot better in ABL. So I'm going to briefly show my cards here. You can pause it if you want to see what my scores are. I'm just pointing out that I only have 16% Pierce because that does affect my score. And then here are my X swords. There you go. So that's what I'm working with. Let's go ahead and go over to Magneto and see what his build looks like. So, with Magneto, I am sporting the Krakoan Winter uniform. And as I'd mentioned, you do need this uniform. It is seasonal, so if you missed it, unfortunately, you won't be able to get it which is why we'll talk about alternatives. Here are some other options going on here. And there are uniform options, and you can pause this again if you want to see them. I'm just going to click through them real quick just in case you haven't looked them up already. The custom gear, I'm sporting a Mighty Rage. It is enraged, which I think is the best option for it, and it's at 0.6 is where it's rolled. Do not have his artifact. I've got a POA. Any of the attack sets are fine. POA, Power of the Anger Hawk, POA. Overdrive or Hawkeyes, any of those are perfectly fine as long as they're attack set. You want 6 red stars on them. Which one you go for depends on what your character needs, because each one of them has different bonuses. So just read over them and compare them to your build, or take the first one you roll. Thor, as I'd mentioned, not only is he the canceller today, but you also want to use him on most of your ABX teams. I'm sorry, your ABL teams. You want to use Thor as much as possible. If you're using Thor, Jean is usually the backup I'll go with, but pay attention to whether or not you need a striker cancel. If you need a striker cancel, you might need to use someone else. If it's a self-canceling user, then you're in good shape. With Magneto, he both needs someone to do Snare for him, and Thor ends up being the best, which is pretty awesome. Here are my gear slots. They're all amplified. It's good to try to all amplify them for your ABs. I do have a lot of Odin's Blessings on him. I definitely think he's worth building, especially with the uniform. Here are his details. Remember, he is an energy attacker. You can see it right here. He's sitting at 99,000 energy attack. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. And as you can see, all these yellow stats, that red number is overcap. You are stuck there. You cannot get over where these yellow stats are. So as long as they're capped out, all of these here are nice ones to cap out, in my opinion. You're in good shape. Required, cooldown, and ignore defense. All the rest, get them as high as you can. Especially critical rate and critical damage, and dodge if you have a rage. Even without a rage, these are still really good stats to cap for most of your characters. So anyway, that's the overall build. Let's talk about the team build-up and alternate options for today. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the graphics back up because I don't like to keep the graphics low. Turning the graphics low, like I said, helps with the animation. So go in here to challenges. No, it's arena. Alliance battle. All right, challenge. So Magneto is the self-lead. Always want to use him in the leadership position. Cyclops is going to need his Phoenix 5 if you want to use him on this team. And basically, you are going to get 2 things from him. He is going to give the all allies 30% energy, and you could use him for a lead, but like I said, it is far better to use the leadership option with Magneto. Under uniform effects, he has nothing that applies here, so the only thing you're getting out of the Phoenix 5 is having a villain to put on the team to get that extra 30% energy. He's not doing much of anything at all for you. And he is no longer worthy of a rage. Mysterio is, though, so I do have Mysterio over here with the Insight. I said rage. I don't know why I said rage. Insight. So I have Mysterio with my Insight over here. You do want to get his Summer Mystery uniform. So there's a couple things. I think it's just his uniform effect, yeah. So when you go through his passives, you're like, well, what is Mysterio doing? This is the time when you go to the uniform effects, and this is what he is doing for your team. Super villain allies. They are getting 30% all basic attack and that damage dealt by 40%. That's sweet, sweet damage dealt. That's the skill you want to see as much of as possible. That's going to help you out the most. So Magneto is a super villain. I don't know why. He's a superhero as far as I'm concerned. Protecting mutant kind against his wretched humans, right? But yeah, 40% damage dealt. Absolutely fantastic right there. That's what you want. That's why he makes a great team up here. If you can get other characters on your team instead of Cyclops, you're better off. But for today, since it's specifically male, you can't use Enchantress with her newest uniform, which is a better team up Enchantress with Mysterio. So you work with what you have. That's why I'm okay with the score I got. If you do not have Magneto's uniform, you probably want to look at someone else. Honestly, there's not a lot of really good choices for today. If you had an Ebony Maul at tier 3, I would consider him, but I would consider Mephisto first. Mephisto is much more expensive. You could probably use Mysterio, even though I think he's a far better support, and you could consider Malekith if you really wanted to. Those are the options that I would consider looking at if I didn't have Magneto. I've not tried Strife out, so I don't think Strife is going to do very good in PvE. And actually, MODOK does do a pretty decent amount of damage, but you're going to be barely scraping by with any of these other characters. So in my opinion, Magneto with the Krakoan Winter uniform, and then I would follow that with Mephisto, followed by Ebony Maul, and then Malekith. Woo. Malekith might be over Ebony Maul. I don't know. I haven't played around with them enough, but those are the characters that I would look at. And like, unfortunately, with most of these characters, you don't have a lot of support options for today, but you could use Cyclops' leadership if you have another character who does not have leadership. Fisto, I know Fisto actually has some self-buffing leadership with that 30% increased fire, but I would rather go with the 35 personally if I was going to go with this team here. So anyway, hopefully that was useful and helpful. If it was, consider thumb upping and commenting below. It helps the algorithm. And may your ABL scores be as high as possible. I'll catch you in the next one.